Device Nation, behind the booth here at the Academy 2026, the inaugural booth crawl, and what an exciting time to be in the OneTray booth with Kyle Kemp. Welcome to New Orleans.
Thank you so much.
Some big announcements, some cool things that I feel confident Device Nation has not seen before, and that's what we're all about, right? Give us an in-service, Kyle.
Let's do it. So the biggest news that we have right now is it's official on these awesome charms, but we've got two different FDA clearances. One, our original clearance, where we had 48-hour shelf life with no dry or cool time. And then now we have a 15-minute minimum clearance as indicated by our orange lock, that now the items have a 365-day or event-related shelf life. So that's one of the newest things that just happened with the OneTray container.
All right, let's just time out there for a second. So, any of us that have been in this space, we know the advantages that the OneTray is always given to us, and that's green, but there's still a lot of those accounts that we're all, and we're not here to argue it either way for them, because we respect it, but they weren't too crazy about the moisture. So now, y'all have just taken that issue off the table, right?
Yes, to your point, our biggest thing was how do we serve both markets? We've got facilities that are event related and we've got facilities that are expiratory dating. How do we serve both of those?
Right.
So the way to do that was to go ahead and just add a dry time so that whenever the tray is open, there's no moisture inside and that it can sit on the shelf for up to 365 days, again, if you're expiratory dating. That was our way to make everybody happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Easy tracks, we've talked about that a lot on Device Nation. I think it's one of the coolest things ever. We still get people reaching out to us on LinkedIn, asking us about this, trying to incorporate it into their ASC, making less trays out of more, right?
Yes, and I think it's been great so far. It's only a day and a half in, and we've talked to, I think, every medical device manufacturer about it, for every one of them and how it could apply. I mean, to your point, I know we've talked about it a lot, but the Mako's the biggest, newest, greatest thing that's out there, and when they're delivering 7 trays that have to be processed for the case, and we can reorganize it in a validated system and do it in 3, that changes the ballgame.
Yeah.
And that's what we're continuing to do for everybody.
My neurotic OCD side loves the ability to take that tray as it comes empty and then put those panels in to make it fit whatever I'm trying to accomplish. I don't know, I get a kick out of that. This right here, this is news.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So it's OneTag. We're looking to launch it around April or May is the idea, but what's really unique about this tag system, because we know that there are competitors in that market space now, but what it can deliver between all the frequencies that can operate it on with Bluetooth and ultra wideband, and it's battery operated, that you'll be able to tell exactly where a set is across the country. So whether you're in Memphis and you're part of the inventory management system and you want to look it up the app on the phone and figure out exactly where this is in the world, I know exactly where it is. What also makes it really unique is that it can also tell temperature as well. So you could tell how many times the tray's been processed to know its asset utilization in the field, whether it's just sitting on a shelf and being stored, or if it's actually being used on a day-to-day basis and how often. So it's really unique in that fashion.
The logistical side of this business is just becoming more and more of a big deal, and knowing where sleeping inventory is,
yes,
right? That tray that's been sitting on the shelf at a hospital for the last 7 years and it's never been cracked open.
Right.
That's information that I think operations could benefit from, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, knowing real time, pulling it up on your phone, it's that simple each and every time, and figure out in transit, kind of like the AirTag, right? That was the simple solution. That's what everybody wanted to do. Throw an AirTag in it, we'll figure out where it is and we'll know. We're going to take it a step further when this comes out here in the next month and a half or so. And the whole idea is you'll know everything about it, and you'll be able to account for all of those individual steps, and then be able to decide your asset utilization. If we need to take it to the hospital because it's only getting used twice a week, bring it to the ASC across the street so we have better asset utilization. That's what we want to help.
So it's active then instead of passive, correct?
Yeah, so every time you pick that tray up, it sends an indication and then sends it to the app that it's been moved, what its internal temperature is, to know then if it's been sterilized or it's in the washer, because it can discern between both, and then it's able to be used in the in the market.
So it piggybacks off of somebody's phone that's nearby to send the signal out? How?
Bluetooth and ultra wideband. So it sends a signal to our network, and then the app will be the intermediary that will tell you exactly where it's at, GPS location, and then what's happening with it.
So if this is in the bowels of the hospital, how does that signal get out?
There are receivers that we also will have to,
so you install
small
receivers,
and they just plug right into the wall, and then boom, that'll help send the signal. Because to your point, if it's in the bowels of the hospital, it's not going to be able to reach out.
We've
But
tested
if it's
other actives, and none of them worked. Like they were made for freight or different industries, right? And then you take
Right.
them in, we're piloting them in the basements of hospitals. Didn't work.
Yeah, so we're going to accomplish all of those goals. So not only in transit, but deep into the hospital, we'll have the receiver that'll be able to ping that signal, and then everybody will be able to know what's going on.
And then that receiver's got to get onto the Wi-Fi of the hospital because there's like in our hospital, there's no signal.
Yes,
Your
and
phone
we're
goes dead. So
yeah,
you're gonna have to work with the hospital to
program it. And it's super simple. It's just a plug on the wall, and then we can coordinate the rest of that. And then, like I said, you'll be able to know exactly where it is. And we're actually getting it to the point where it's within about 6 inches of the GPS location. That's how fine and calculated we want to be with where the location of it is.
Does that mean you guys have to work with the hospital IT to be allowed to get a signal from the hospital out?
Potentially, yes.
Or guest Wi-Fi. Most of them have guest Wi-Fi.
Right, and that's kind of what we're thinking of picking off of too, because it's not a super proprietary or taking a lot of bandwidth, but it just has to send a signal.
I guess Wi-Fi, you got to redo it every day.
Yeah.
Some,
kick you off.
yeah.
Some, but if it's like
If it doesn't,
if it stays there, it's
They,
going to be
they
on
could,
and off.
I mean, it's not that hard to set up, a separate Wi-Fi too. Like if a hospital really wanted to
hotspot or something.
track
Right.
their assets, creating a third Wi-Fi account specifically for tracking
Just
assets.
You go in
Act
as
of
a rep
Congress
and
to
find
get
a tray
that
with
through.
it.
I completely.
What's the, how are you going to sell that individually, per tag, per month?
So
or
per
what's
tag,
the-
there will obviously be a fee per tag
To purchase initially?
to purchase initially, and then there is a subscription to be able to use the phone application. And then however many users you have.
So are you primarily for hospital use, or you talk to industry at all about applications from?
We've
field?
talked to almost everybody in here while here industry-wise, but it could be at any level. Obviously the industry makes a lot of sense because asset utilization is one of the biggest things to talk about, period. And with what this can do versus the competitors in the space, it offers a lot more information that is obviously very, very, very helpful.
Then who owns the information? That's the other thing, is that who owns the information, then I guess you get companies that Stryker doesn't want Zimmer to know what's going someone buys it, whatever, et cetera. There are
Kyle.
ways to figure that out.
Right, yeah.
I've lost years off my life in large hospitals trying to find a tray that I know was run. I think it was run, and I
Right.
can't find it. I've had hospitals I literally needed to go there 3 hours early just to find everything, right? It becomes a big national treasure. So having that type of refinement on the GPS, of being able to zero in right where that thing is, that's just huge.
Or you can walk around with a metal detector and be like, all right, where is this thing?
You need to have one for the lids.
A
too.
divining rod, just two sticks.
That's the idea, right?
That's just incredible.
A and B or 1 and 2.
And I love the idea of a couple things that you didn't bring up, but I've heard it, I think, that the ability to come in and do inventory on these trays, but not have to open them, because
Right.
we know what's in it from that. And also the ability to go to bed the night before and I know that my tray got ran.
Yeah, I mean, ideally for the reps, period. Anybody that's actually still moving trays around, this could save hours of the day, right? Even if it's as simple as, well, where's that revision set? I can't remember. John had it last and Billy needs it next. What am I gonna do? Where is it? Is it at the hospital? Is it the surgery center?
Yeah.
What was the last case, right? You just take all the guesswork out of it. It's right there on your phone. You can look at any time you want. We could even set up alerts and things like that to help if that's part of the process.
That's cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty simple to do.
When you're pairing the trackers to the set, is it just a list of inventory? You just match it with your kit, or can you take a picture and match it with the tracker?
So
What
there's-
kind of data is available?
There's two different parts of it. One is obviously this lives inside the tray, and in theory the tray is sterilized, so whatever is in there is in there. So naming it appropriately, if it's for a specific surgeon, down to whatever gives you that information so that your responsible reps in the field know and can deliver to the hospital or surgery center.
It's like an
But
AirTag
this-
where you assign your backpack or your
Exactly,
case or
exactly. You need to be as descriptive as possible to know what's inside of it. But the secondary part of it is we have a QR code that goes on the outside of all of our Easy Tracks trays. So we can parallel that with an entire BOM, bill of materials, and list everything out. Then we can have each individual instrument. Here it is, here's a photo of it, there's a catalog number that goes with it and the quantity. So we can do all of that in our QR code. That's also to be able to look up on your phone. You can pull it up on a terminal as well at your computer, either way. You'll be able to see it all at your fingertips.
Yeah. That's a big deal. You do this job long enough, a courier's going to pick up the stuff that's not yours.
Yeah.
and then you're trying to find it, you're panicking, knowing where it is.
See, but the upside now is now you can actually go track down the courier.
Exactly.
If it was ever taken by accident, now you at least know, right? So
Right.
it's kind of, you know, a little bit, not necessarily gonna help you sleep at night knowing it's not where you need it to be, but maybe you might be able to find it too.
The other thing is accountability with SPD, right? Where who knows how they're restocking this thing and all
Right.
this stuff, and being able to track back, you know, who keeps screwing up or
Or if
whatever.
like some rep came in and used it, pulled your screw case because he didn't have his hip screws with him.
Right.
And you come in the next day for a hip, you'll know that tray was down the night before.
Yes,
You know, because that happens all the time.
it does. We've all come into Central Sterile the next day and our tray was down and we're like, what happened? Something happened last night I didn't know about. Well, Kyle, hit us at the very end here with something that I know nobody knows about, the microdot.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's technology that's coming. On our end of things, we're looking into it to kind of help parallel it, but you know, it'll be an exciting adventure when that technology finally comes.
Right. Can't talk about it quite yet.
Well, we're working on it. You know, this is ready for release here in April or May with our tracker, and that's kind of the next big piece of the pie. But we're definitely into thinking where the industry needs to go, and that's, as you can tell, kind of our home base and niche. That's what we want to keep doing.
Yeah, just, yep.
Stay tuned. Leave you on a cliffhanger.
Stay tuned for the next exciting episode
There you go.
of OneTray. Kyle, thank you so much for having us in y'all's booth to hear about these exciting things coming down the road, and just a huge fan of what y'all were doing on the logistical side, and I'm glad we had a little bit more of the rep element here because
Yeah.
this directly affects us, right? I mean, it affects Dr. Dasa as well, but the logistical side is stuff that's really in our wheelhouse, and we really appreciate you, and I wish you guys great success here in the Big Easy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Like,